All right, we're live. So, welcome everybody here to NNSCRA Talks Wrestling Summerslam edition. Been a while since we've done NNSCRA Talks Wrestling, and so decided we would do one today because in just a couple of days we're going to be having, I guess it's considered the second largest pay per view for WWE next to WrestleMania. But we got SummerSlam coming up this weekend, and I'm being joined by fellow YWC uh, member, if you will, the Raw general manager, blah blah blah. Michael Norman. Hi, Michael.
Hello, sir. I attacked last night.
Yeah, really appreciate it. But we won't go into that.
Specific reasons.
Yeah,
Extremely specific reasons.
very specific.
You'll get you'll know soon enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a good just I'm gonna plug it because it's just you and me, doing this thing and all that. So yeah, you're gonna want to tune into the first YWC pay per view because we got ourselves pretty good lineups for both Raw and SmackDown. It should be a really good show.
Yeah,
So
definitely will be.
yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's first before we get into the whole the card and everything, let's first talk about the big thing that has been a topic for pretty much this whole week, and Michael and I have been messaging each other back and forth about this too. Um, the suspensions that have been handed out for wellness policy violations by WWE. First, we have Alberto Del Rio, and then we had Paige, and now out of nowhere we have Eva Marie as well. Now, one thing I got to ask you first, Michael, is there have been rumors going around. You know how they've done this whole like heel thing with Eva Marie, which is terrific because nobody likes her anyway, so they're doing with her what they should do with Roman Reigns. But regardless, um, do you think that the wellness policy thing with Eva Marie is legit, or are they doing this just to continue with her character?
Nah, I think it's legit. They don't announce. They wouldn't announce a wellness policy as a heel thing.
Mm. Also, it also kind of make a mockery of the wellness policy too if they use it for
Exactly.
like a stunt. So we've got Del Rio and Paige. They weren't really involved in much of anything as far as the Slam card is concerned.
Not involved in much of anything. I think those two are involved themselves. If you know what I
Well,
mean.
yeah, okay, yeah, good point there. I was actually thinking, I'm like, okay, so we've got the correlation with Alberto Del Rio and Paige. How does Eva Marie comes into this? Well, there's total divas.
Triple H is personally trying to break them up.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, planning to. That's why he separated them in the draft, and that's why. And Triple H has flat out said Alberto Del Rio is a bad influence on Paige, as you could probably see.
Yeah. And I don't know. They don't really go into specifics how the wellness policy was violated. At least I haven't found the articles that were, but you kind of wonder if maybe Eva Marie has violated it, and maybe there's a correlation between her and Paige being on Total Divas. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess we'll see when that season comes out.
But going back to what I was saying, Alberto Del Rio and Paige, neither of them were booked for a match at SummerSlam. Eva Marie was. We'll get to that. Actually, why don't we get to it right now? Let's get right into the card. The first matchup that there was going to be a 3-on-3 women's tag team match. Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi taking on Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and the aforementioned Eva Marie. Well, now Eva Marie is not going to be at SummerSlam. They're going to need somebody else to fill in the spot. I'll give you what my opinion is in just a minute. But who do you see as a possible fill-in for that third slot?
Summer Rae.
Really?
She's the go-to person to fill in, pretty much.
Okay.
If they even do that, they might just knock it down to a regular tag team match.
That's possible too. JT joining us here. Hey, JT.
Oh, hello.
So we were just talking about the first match on the card, the match of Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Naomi versus Natalya, Eva Marie, and Alexa Bliss. And obviously with Eva Marie now having the 30-day suspension, they might have to fill in that slot with somebody else. Who would you see as a possible fill-in for that slot on Natalya and Alexa Bliss's team?
Before I start, let's just say it's like the suspension bug has hit WWE recently. First Alberto Del Rio, then Paige, and now Eva Marie. Anywho,
I'm trying to think that
this
they
is left field, but I'm going with someone who was recently cleared to return to WWE to a WWE ring, Nikki Bella.
You're going with Nikki Bella. Well, I actually thought about Nikki Bella. The only problem I see with that is, more often than not, when a superstar returns from injury, they normally come back as a face. Seth Rollins kind of came back as a face when he left as a heel. I think especially when we saw Nikki Bella appear at WrestleMania, she came out and it was almost more like she was a face than a heel. I think if Nikki Bella comes back, she's going to be more a face than she would be a heel. Alexa Bliss and Natalya, they're taking more on the heel role, so I don't think that Nikki Bella would fit in with the team. I'll tell you who I'm actually looking at. I think they're going to have to kind of work around what kind of storyline they were going to have. Here's how I saw this particular match going down. We've had a lot of different squash matches take place lately with Nia Jax. Seems like there's a big stage that she's got to make her in-ring debut against, regulars on the women's roster. I thought SummerSlam would be the right place. I also thought, if you remember back, and I'm sure, Michael, you'll remember this with NXT, Nia Jax aligned herself with Eva Marie at one point. Why couldn't they have that again up on the main roster if Eva Marie had not been suspended? I think what would have happened is more than likely Nia Jax would have gotten involved in the match somehow, and Eva Marie would have slipped in and gotten the quick pin, somehow with the help of Nia Jax. I think now, because Eva Marie has been suspended, you're going to see Nia Jax be the third member of that team.
I guess, and this is all if they even keep up with that for 6-person Diva tag match.
Yeah, exactly. They may scrap it.
Divas anymore, Maggle.
Hey, maybe they'll scrap it and we'll get to see what was it, like a 8-man tag team matchup again with those 4 different tag teams that nobody seems to care about right now.
Pretty much. Very
SmackDown Tag Division.
Yeah, the Vaudevillains and the Ascension and Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder, and
American Alpha's work in NXT.
Yeah. All right, so we don't even know if that match is going to take place, but if it does take place, let's say it does take place. We don't know. Let's say it's a mystery partner right now for Natalya and Alexa Bliss. But JT, between these two teams, Carmella, Becky Lynch, Naomi versus Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and the mystery partner, which team do you see winning if they go through with this match?
Regardless of who wins, as good old JR would say, it's gonna be a slobber knocker. It's gonna be a slobber knocker regardless.
Yeah.
But seeing as though the heels, the faces have been on the losing side, and see all the episodes of SmackDown Live, I would say they go on top.
I actually read Jim Ross's blog from Twitter, and he was talking about how if they do the booking right, they should have Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton be the last match of the evening, like the actual main event, and everything. And Jim Ross talked about how because he knows a lot, that he sees Brock Lesnar winning, but he wouldn't be surprised. He wouldn't be shocked, but he'd be surprised if Randy Orton won with an RKO.
Well, you're getting ahead of us. We're getting way ahead of ourselves here, Michael.
I wasn't done yet because I was just reading his blog and everything, and he was talking about his stuff, saying how he can see pretty much like the Rollins and Balor match stealing the show, and he doesn't see Ziggler winning the title, but he sees Ziggler pushing Dean Ambrose to his full limit at that night, along with the Divas matches and everything else like that. But I personally think it's gonna be a good pay-per-view.
I think so too. Going to JR's point too, with the Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton as the finale. I have to say that apparently Bleacher Report agrees with him, because as I'm going down the card list here, this is how they have them listed, and they actually do have Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton as the last match on the card. So whether
Let's
WWE is
just
following this or not,
squash match.
yeah. All right, so let's move on. Oh, wait, actually, Michael, you didn't give us your prediction of which team you think would win in that women's tag team match.
It's a women's tag team match. The only women's match I care about would be the women's championship match with Sasha Banks and Charlotte.
Well, yeah, but you got to give a prediction at least. Come on.
I'll just give it to the heels then.
All right, you're giving it to the heels. I'm going to do the same. I think that even if Eva Marie was there, it would have been given to the heels. I think they're going to keep with that, and it'll be the heel team as well. All right, so we move on now to, oh, heaven preserve us, Cesaro versus Sheamus, the best of 7 series. It'll be their first match. As if we haven't seen them go up against each other for the last 3 weeks, we get to see them for another 7 weeks, starting with SmackDown. Your guys' thoughts? Is this a good idea or a bad idea?
Starting with SummerSlam. And yes, I can see the first match going to Cesaro.
I disagree. I think that Sheamus is going to be the first one because I think they're going to definitely put Cesaro over, but I think Cesaro is going to have to make up a deficit in order to do it. I think he's going to be behind at least by probably the first 2 matches and going to have to try and make a comeback.
I think that, let's just say, as much as those people, the chance of you look stupid get to Sheamus, I think he'll use those chants to his advantage. Could be taunting Cesaro and all that. I see Sheamus winning the first match.
Here's the only thing that I see the problem with this. If this were an incident where they had just started out, okay, I can see a best of 7 series happening, but we ended up having 2 matches where Cesaro won. We had a match where Sheamus ended up winning. We've seen this before. How much more can they actually give us that's different without it being, monotonous? Oh, it's Sheamus and Cesaro again. They did this last week. They'll do it this week. I don't know how they can come up with any more new material to make it interesting for a best of 7 series, especially when we've seen them face off against each other pretty much every single week, for the past month or so.
Well, the problem lies within WWE's 50-50 booking and all that.
Yeah. All right, so
50-50 book. It's their 50-50 booking idea and all that.
So, Michael, you said that you're going with Cesaro for the first match. I'm going with Sheamus. JT, who do you think is going to win the first match?
Already said it, Sheamus.
All right, so you're going with Sheamus too. All right. Now we move on to the Intercontinental Championship match. The Miz, with Maurice in his corner against Apollo Crews. What do you guys think? We going to see a title swap here, or does the Miz retain?
I want to give it so badly to Apollo Crews, but I just really don't know if they're willing to take it away from the Miz. I had a small stroke there, guys.
You know, as much as I've actually enjoyed seeing the shenanigans in which the Miz retains the title and all that, I think he's gonna bite him. I think he's gonna bite him hard at SummerSlam. Apollo Crews.
You think Apollo Crews? All right. I think that, quite honestly, the Miz has had a great run with the title, and while Apollo Crews definitely has the charisma to be a champion, he doesn't quite match the Miz as far as being able to cut promos and everything. So I actually see the Miz retaining at least at this point. I think he's going to keep the championship. Yeah, somebody's phone going off. All right, so the next matchup, tag team matchup, Enzo Amore and Big Cass. They'll be taking on the newly formed Jericho, Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens. I'm actually really looking forward to this match, to be honest, because I think that Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho complement each other so well as far as their promos and everything. Enzo Amore and Big Cass, they're great with promos. I think that these two teams against each other, both professionally and as far as physically, I think they're going to be great against each other. Who are you guys looking at to win this matchup, though?
I think that I'm not gonna lie, but if this match were a show or a showstopper between, I'd say that steal the show. But seeing as as it would ooze charisma and all that. But anywho, I give it to Enzo and Cass at this point, because as believe it or not, that, yeah. Mago left.
Yeah, Maga left. All right, so I'm actually going to agree with you. I think it is going to be Enzo Amore and Big Cass that are probably going to win the matchup. I think that Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, they're going to put up a good fight. And I think that maybe, just maybe, this could be the start of seeing Jericho possibly have some miscommunication. There starts to be a little bit of anger there, and we could end up seeing them break apart, and we could end up seeing Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens at another pay-per-view at some point.
You can take their face turn in the future, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so let's move on to the next matchup, which is a tag team championship match. The New Day with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, because Big E Langston is out of commission, suffering from ring postitis. And they'll be taking on the Club, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Your thoughts? Who's going to get this? Does the New Day continue on with their long run with the tag team titles, or do we finally see the Club get the tag team title belts? Because we know sooner or later they're going to get it, but is SummerSlam the place where they're going to do it?
Sooner or later. The longest reign as tag team champions, it was a week before Battleground, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That comes to an end tonight. That comes to an end Sunday.
So you're going with the Club. So am I. I'm going with the Club as well, because I think they're setting it up for them to be able to get the titles with the fact that now it's just Kingston and Xavier Woods rather than Kingston and Big E Langston. I also have another reason why I think they're going to win the titles, but I'll get to that in just a little bit, because it's in another matchup that I have a prediction of that it would fit into. So as we move on to the next matchup, Sasha Banks defending the championship against Charlotte. And due to Sasha winning a matchup a couple of weeks ago, Dana Brooke will now be banned from ringside. Charlotte or Sasha? Who are you going with?
I wouldn't say genetic superiority would get the title back.
Really? So you're going with Charlotte to get it back, huh?
No, I said wouldn't.
Oh, wouldn't?
Because childhood dream of Sasha's was to win the women's title. I see Sasha retaining.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think that they would, especially with the fact that they would have Sasha win the title against Charlotte on a Monday Night Raw episode and then have her lose it in the following pay-per-view. I don't see that happening.
The Raw after the draft. The Raw after the draft.
Yeah, I'm also hearing, this might not be correct, but I'm hearing some rumors that Charlotte has actually asked for some time off from WWE. So this could be the last time we see her as, like, the quotes #1 contender. Because keep in mind, she does have a rematch clause for the championship, which she's, I guess, invoking here at SummerSlam. I think she's not going to get it. And then maybe we're going to see Charlotte disappear for a while, as she's going to be taking some time off from WWE, and that could end up bringing somebody else to the forefront to try and challenge Sasha Banks in upcoming pay-per-view. So as we move on to the next match on the card, this one's going to be interesting. Rusev, the champ, versus Roman Reigns for the United States Championship. Who do you see getting the title in this one?
You know, not gonna lie, the build up in this. Rusev was posting all that before Reigns came out and I don't know, pulled his 5 moves of doom on him. But if they're trying to go the Cena route with Reigns, it wouldn't surprise me if he won.
Hmm.
As much as smarky as I am, as much as I dislike Reigns, I'm going with him.
And I'm going to agree with you on that as well, for 2 reasons. Number one, WWE is just trying so hard to make Roman Reigns face. They have been trying it for weeks. Now they've got him in a position where they're sending him up against maybe one of the biggest heels in WWE right now because of the patriotic slant. I think that you're exactly right. I think that Roman Reigns is going to get the title because if you look, all 3 members of the Shield, they've held the big one, the World Heavyweight Champion, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins, he had a U.S. title reign. Dean Ambrose had a U.S. title reign when the Shield was together. The only one of that trio that hasn't had the U.S. title yet is Roman Reigns, and I think he's going to get it at SummerSlam.
Pretty much, that would mean that the Shield had held both the WWE World Championship and the United States Championship.
Yep, exactly. I think they're gonna complete the trifecta for both those titles. So next up, we got John Cena versus AJ Styles. Now, of course, so far those two are 1-1 as far as victories over each other. This one's going to be the rubber match between the two of them. Who do you see winning this one between Styles and Cena?
Yes, the face of the WWE versus the face of international wrestling. Styles Dream Match 101. You know, I wouldn't say if shenanigans were to be involved in this one, I'd say either Cena. We all know Cena hasn't been that great at SummerSlam and all that.
It's true.
Slam is not great for the record. I'd say some shenanigans are involved in this one, and AJ Styles gets the win and all that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that as well. I think Styles is going to win, basically because I think Styles really needs to win. I think he needs to be the one that goes over. I don't know what they've got planned for John Cena in the future, but I definitely think that as far as title contenders, AJ Styles is definitely one of them. And so I think that AJ definitely needs to go over in this matchup. Also with the fact...
Cena isn't working the next SmackDown pay-per-view, however. That's what I've heard about. I've heard that he wasn't, though.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting. But I also think when they had that spot on the last SmackDown with Cena AAing Styles through the table, I think that kind of was a little message right there, too, that AJ Styles is going to come back. He's going to get the win at SummerSlam. I also, to your point as far as the shenanigans is concerned, though, I think that AJ Styles is going to win it, completely clean by himself. That, the only possibility of interference that I could see would be the Club, but they're on an entirely different brand than AJ Styles now. They're over with Raw, and AJ Styles is now at SmackDown. So I don't see any interference happening. I think Styles is going to get it on his own against Cena. Maybe a disqualification or something, but I think that Styles is definitely going to win. So let's move on to the first of the 2 championship matchups for the big title, the WWE World Championship, as they're calling it now. Dean Ambrose, the champion, versus Dolph Ziggler. These two have had some pretty awesome promos in the last couple of weeks for sure.
I can agree there.
But does Dolph Ziggler get the title from Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam?
Have you seen how they've been booking Dean recently? Part of me is saying that Vince has faith in Dean Ambrose as a champion. And for him to lose it to at a major pay-per-view 2 months after winning it at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Dean Ambrose retains.
Yep, I agree as well. They're actually saying that that Dolph Ziggler was actually a backup fill-in #1 contender. They didn't actually say who the actual one was that they were planning on have fight Ambrose for the title at SummerSlam. Ziggler has definitely stepped into the role beautifully. I agree. I think that, the fact that, in all honesty, I've looked at the promos, and sometimes you have to kind of read between the lines with them. A lot of the promos, Dean Ambrose says to Dolph Ziggler, you've never, figured out the hunger title, blah, blah, blah. Dolph Ziggler's a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, so, I mean, it's like he does know about it. So I think that was an immediate giveaway, the fact that Dolph Ziggler is not going to be getting the title. I think he'll put up a good fight, but I'm with you. I think Dean Ambrose is definitely going to retain the championship. Moving on, we've got the WWE Universal Championship that's going to be decided in a singles match. Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor. Now, first off, I got to ask you, we've seen the debut on Raw of the Demon King last week. Does Finn Balor don the Demon King at SummerSlam, or do we just see Finn Balor?
Ah, yes. Rollins, Balor, Black, do it, Devin. Someone from Ring of Honor versus someone from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Regardless of who wins, it's going to be one hell of a match.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be, Seth Rollins has had some really great matchups. My favorite one was when he was against Randy Orton 2 years ago at WrestleMania. But I think this is going to be the marquee of his career, the marquee match.
Gonna be one. It could be a potential match of the year candidate too, if done right.
And here's the interesting thing. Nobody's really been able to put a solid prediction, been able to back it up with any facts of who they think is going to win this title, because a lot of people are thinking, well, the authority figures are going to go with Seth Rollins to be the champion. But the way that Finn Balor's gotten such a push, people are wondering if the title's going to be put on him. Who are you looking at in these two to be the champion?
The fact that this push Balor's been getting and all that, if they were to waste it all away at SummerSlam, it would earn a lot of heat from the fans. It would earn a lot of heat from both Marks and Smarks alike.
Yep.
I'd say Finn Balor wins the inaugural title, the inaugural Universal Championship.
I'm going to actually agree with you on this. I believe Finn Balor is, because, like I said before, I believe that Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they're going to win the tag team titles. If Finn Balor wins the WWE Universal Championship, then on SmackDown, or no, I'm sorry, not on SmackDown, then on Raw, they're Bullet Club owning gold. I think that is going to be, the start of the Bullet Club forming with Finn Balor as the leader.
All I'm going to say is that the gold moment would be 2. Yeah,
right,
I've heard their work in Japan too.
Yeah, I've have too, and it's interesting too. I don't know if you heard about this, but Kenny Omega ended up winning a thing over in New Japan and won some kind of a tournament, and he's a member of the Bullet Club. So the Bullet Club's definitely getting some pushes here in the last couple of weeks.
You could say Bullet Club is like the new NWO, honestly.
Yeah, they really are. They seem to be sprouting everywhere in all sorts of different wrestling factions. All right, so let's move on to what I'm hoping is going to be the main event of the evening. Don't know where they're putting this on the card, but we'll see. Brock Lesnar taking on Randy Orton. Who do you have winning this matchup, and why?
Interpromotional matches. Last time we had one, 2000. Last time we had one of those before pay-per-views became, or part of every brand was around 2007. Having these again years later, I'm mesmerized.
Hmm.
But anywho, Lesnar versus Orton. Those promos that they've been cutting and all that, been masterful on the stick. Especially Paul Heyman
Yeah.
promos
Paul
and
Heyman.
all that.
I've never seen Paul Heyman cut a bad promo.
Yeah. It's like he's gifted on the stick. And they say one suplex, and they say multiple suplexes can disarm someone. An RKO can take someone to Viper Bill. It's actually either they wrestle or a draw, or it's gonna be between one of them, or one of them gets the win and all that. But it would come out as a surprise if Randy Orton were to pin the Beast in the middle of the squared circle.
I'm looking at a couple of scenarios with this matchup, and the reason why I think that this should be the last one on the card is based off my third possibility for this matchup. Now, first off, I've looked at the future matchups that are possibly predicted, especially for WrestleMania. There's a rumor going that Brock Lesnar might take on Samoa Joe at WrestleMania. Now, if that is the case,
I heard rumors that Samoa Joe actually wants Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33.
Yep. So from what I'm gathering from that, in all honesty, I think Brock Lesnar needs to go over in this one. They've pushed that one RKO can end the match kind of thing. I think you're gonna see Randy go for it several times, but Lesnar be able to counter it. Let's look at how they are in the company as well for my second reasoning. My second reasoning, Brock Lesnar, kind of wrestles when he wants to, mostly at the pay-per-views. Randy Orton's going to be an everyday face, I think, when we end up having, him come back to live television and all that. So he'll be able to get back into a title hunt, whether it be for a main championship, for secondary championship. I think you're going to see him still in the title picture, but Brock Lesnar, you're not. So I think Lesnar needs to go over for that reason. Third reasoning is I've heard, and I don't know if they would do it as soon as now, but Bill Goldberg has said that he is interested in coming back to WWE. There's been rumors that we could end up seeing a Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar 2.
Rematch?
And if that's the case,
a rematch of one of the worst matches at WrestleMania 20.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I can see the show ending with Brock Lesnar winning the match against Orton, and then all of a sudden out comes Bill Goldberg. I think that's a possibility of something that could happen. I don't know. The other thing that I'm also wondering that could happen, and maybe a possible build-up for WrestleMania, going back to Samoa Joe, we've got NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2 that's going to be happening before SummerSlam. There's been some talk about the fact that Bayley might not win against Asuka, and then she'll get pushed up to the main roster, and there's been some talk that Samoa Joe will not beat Shinsuke Nakamura, and as a result, Samoa Joe will come up to the main roster. So if that's a possibility and Samoa Joe does not win the NXT championship, him make an appearance in the Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, their match at SummerSlam, and then that could be the build-up towards Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
I've actually been hearing word that The Undertaker could be returning soon to SmackDown and all that. Yeah.
Huh, I wonder what they would do, what kind of feud they put him in with, because it seems like he's just about going after everyone.
Just about Randy.
What if we saw him go after? Well, I know it'd be SmackDown, so he wouldn't be able to. I was gonna say though, it'd be actually pretty cool to actually see The Undertaker versus Finn Balor.
The Demon versus the new Demon versus the new breed versus the old breed.
That would be cool. I don't think they'd do it, but that would be awesome if they did that.
Would be one hell of a dream match if you ask me.
The only question is though, with the age difference, would The Undertaker be able to go with someone like Finn Balor?
He was able to go. He was able to go Well, he was able to go with Bray Wyatt.
He was, but the only thing is, when you look at some of the Undertaker's previous matches with, with Shawn Michaels, with Triple H, with Bray Wyatt, it was more, and even with Shane McMahon, it was more working at the Undertaker's pace than anything else. So, they were making sure that the Undertaker didn't overexert himself and all that, because, let's face it, he's definitely getting up there in age. So, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing, though. I think that they could be having him return to SmackDown in order to feud with John Cena and all that, because I've actually heard word going around that WrestleMania 33 could be what was planned for WrestleMania 32, Undertaker versus John Cena.
I've heard that too. Yeah, you might be right, and if AJ Styles wins against John Cena, and I was just saying, where would John Cena go from there? You could be right. That could be the build up there for Cena and the Undertaker, which I could definitely see. I could definitely see that happening, because that's never happened before.
In fact, why not start the build up at SummerSlam?
Yeah, exactly. It seems like SummerSlam really is a place to start the build-ups for WrestleMania. So, yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it here for this edition of NNSCRA Talks Wrestling. Michael had to leave midway through, but thanks to him for joining me. And JT, thanks for joining me for the whole episode. Appreciate your input here, and we'll see how our predictions do at SummerSlam in 2 days.
No problem.
All right, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Not certain if we'll have maybe a recap of SummerSlam for our next episode. Maybe we'll do something like that. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later now.